Hello there, and welcome to my channel, Novice Modelling and the Midlife Crisis. My name's Andy, and today I'm going to introduce you to what I'm going to call another edition from the weird, wonderful and worst models of the modelling world. It's kind of interesting because I'm actually asking a question here. I'm not really making a statement, so I'm not actually saying this is the worst model. I'm just, saying to you, this is something that I bought, and what do you guys think? I've got my own thoughts on this one because I've already seen in the box on this one. So let's share it and let's all have a conversation about it, I suppose. This is a Souvage-Payen SP-240 in 1/72 scale, and it's by a company called Unicraft, who I've had a look at their website and I'm a little bit uncertain as to where they're from. I think they're US based. Now, I paid about £18 for this model plus postage. It was on clearance, incidentally, from the eBay seller that I bought it off. It does actually have a couple of prices on here. It does actually say £32.50, and then here it says £24. And like I said, I got it for 18. So I think they were trying to get rid of it. So have I been a bit of a mug and bought something a bit of a donkey? Well, let's have a look, I suppose. Interestingly, just to give you a bit on Unicraft, they do actually produce resin models, and their website does actually say for skilled modelers only. And if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that I am definitely not a skilled modeler. I have a habit of throwing these things together quite badly at the moment, because basically I'm just trying to get a bit of practice. They do actually specialise in making some of the most outlandish designs you're ever going to see. I'd highly recommend you have a look at the website just to see some of the crazy designs that people have come up with over the years. And you might decide that you want to go along and try to find some crazy models, and if you decide to buy one of these models, well, good luck to you basically, because these are really hard. So anyway, here we go. As you can see, I haven't got abnormally large hands. It's just a really, really small box. Souvage-Payen actually developed experimental aircraft between 1930 and 1940 for the French, and this one is actually intended to be a sort of airborne ambulance. It basically had one pilot here, and it had space for, it says, just one stretcher. So kind of seems like quite an expensive thing in the 1930s and 40s just to have a whole aeroplane just for one stretcher, but that's obviously where the French decided to go with this. So we've got some bubbles here to get rid of, and we have a nice little notice that says, caution, the model parts are made of brittle resin, please take your time and be careful. Tip, use a hot knife to separate the parts from the sprues. Now, I did a quick look on Amazon to see, well, exactly what a hot knife was. It wasn't quite what I thought it was. It wasn't a knife that you'd made hot on the cooker anyway. They actually cost about £40 to £60. Whether I decide to buy one of those to actually try to build this model at some point in the future, that's open for debate. So first we're just gonna hide those for now. We're going to show you the really helpful instructions that we've got here from Unicraft, which is just basically, well, it's a picture of the plane. So we'll just read it out here. Souvage-Payen SP-240, one pilot and one stretcher, 195 horsepower Samson 7AC engine, cruising speed 108 knots, range 810 nautical miles, 1931. Now this model actually only has 20 parts, I think. So even though it's intended for the really experienced model maker, there's not really an awful lot of parts to go around, so you'd think it would go together quite quickly. You'd think. So I'm going to open all these little baggies up, and we're going to have a look at what we've got. So as you can see, it's actually resin. So resin actually looks obviously quite different to what we normally have models made of, and obviously this requires quite a lot of work to actually get it to a standard where you could actually put this thing together. Just turn that over. So here we have this is a hole for the door, obviously, which we'll just take it out so we can see what's going on, and the cockpit is actually up here. So there we go, and we've got another piece basically identical there with a couple of little portholes in. And here we have 2 wings. Now the wing section actually is just this piece here, so you can see this line here. So that's basically requires hot knifing off or breaking off, I suppose. There seems to be quite a sort of interesting shape. It looks, you know, it's quite like a knife, in fact. And again, there's going to be a lot of work to be done here. There really doesn't appear to be any real sort of detail on the upper surface of the wing. I've no idea whether there's supposed to be. I mean, it could be a canvas covered wing, I suppose. So obviously in that case you wouldn't really have any detail, I suppose. Here we have the tail plane. Interestingly, the tail plane is actually front mounted for extra lift apparently, and there is some detail on the actual upper surfaces, though when I look at this from side on, it doesn't really look very straight to me, so I'm not quite sure whether that's in the production or whether that's supposed to be like that. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be bent, but I'm sure at some point one day in the future, maybe when I retire or I'm suffering from some sort of madness that makes me want to have a go at this, we'll find out. And in this little baggie, you've got the... oh dear. This is where obviously the engine housing, so obviously you need to push all that out. And here we can see the front of the engine. I mean, there is detail on that, but it's going to need a lot of work. I mean, I'm thinking that all of this has got to be almost chiseled out or filed out or something. I mean, I've no idea how to do that. There is a useful video on how to actually prepare the parts online, so at some point I'll probably have to have a look at that. And here we have a nice chunk of plastic, which seems to basically just be the pilot seat. I don't think that's of any consequence, that piece there. And then we have, whoops, one last little baggie with, I think this is the rear tail, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Oh no, this is the this is the mounting points for these are the mounting points for the undercarriage, and I'm guessing these are the supports for the wings. Not exactly sure because the instructions don't really tell you what to do. Here we have these are the nicest looking parts that I could find. This is the undercarriage, and you can see the wheels. Again, there's no real detail going on there at all, so I assume a skilled modeler could quite easily make some detail of his own up, I suppose, or maybe it's not supposed to have any. I think we've got another couple of that's the propeller. We've got 2 propeller blades there. Let's break that off. 2 propeller blades and the propeller mount. That'll be. I mean, you've got to drill the hole right the way through the resin as well, which I suppose is pretty obvious, I suppose, really. But when you look at this thing, when you open it up and you go, oh my god, and you get 3 little plastic parts. Sorry, clear plastic parts. And I must admit, when I opened this up, I looked at it and I thought, well, where's the doors? There's doors here, obviously. I mean, there's doors on here. There's a hole for the doors, but there was no doors. And after sort of scrummaging around, I came to realise that these are the doors here, these little pieces of clear plastic. So as you can see, they go, obviously they don't really fit at the moment, but that's where they're intended to go. So you just paint them, I suppose, and paint them and put the door in. Obviously you need to cut them out. So there's 2 of those, and then we've got the front cockpit. It's quite squishy plastic, but there we go. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I've done 3 of these videos so far. One was a Ventura Spitfire, which I was largely rounded on by the modelling community for calling it terrible, when it should actually be obviously for experienced members. But I'm a novice and I don't really have any great appreciation for these things at the moment. Excuse me. That's just so you know, this is filmed live and unprepared. So yeah, so what do we think? I mean, is this a contender for the worst model ever? I mean, I think it'd be quite interesting to have a go at some point in the future, but I'm certainly not going to waste another 40 to 60 pounds on a hot knife. So God knows how I'm going to break these pieces of plastic off. If you've ever had a go with these before without a hot knife, please do drop me a line and let me know. I think if we decide that it isn't the worst model ever, well, I think we're all going to agree it certainly could be the damn ugliest one. That is one ugly looking plane. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Questions and suggestions are always welcome on my channel. Please like and subscribe and join me for the ride, and please comment. What do you think? Is this a horrible thing, or is this something that you'd like to have a go at? If you'd like to have a go at, please visit www.unicraftmodels.com. Incidentally, if you bought this directly off them, let me just check Unicraft models, and yeah, it's $45 in the US. I don't know whether I'd want to pay $45 for this. I certainly wouldn't want to pay £45 for it, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, be seeing you.